Welcome to my potting shed. Today we're going to try and, this is a sweet potato. It's been in here probably a year. We have harvested it before, and the previous harvest was very disappointing. But we're going to take off the leaves, the slips, and then we'll dig in to the soil, and hopefully we'll get, it's not a large area, hopefully we'll get a few kilo of sweet potato. So got the gloves on, and I'll just start pulling out these slips. Some of them will save, some of the better ones eventually. I'll just put them in this little pot to start with. It's quite dry in here, even though it gets watered constantly. And the beauty of sweet potato, believe it or not, they grow wonderful as an indoor plant. So next time you go to the supermarket and you buy sweet potato, save a little end bit, put it in a nice little pot, and 3 weeks later you have a beautiful indoor plant that basically cost you very little. So we've got rid of the leaves and the slips, and I forgot to mention that with the leaves, they're excellent either boiled or chopped up and used as a stir fry. And if you've got chickens and you're growing sweet potatoes, the chooks, well, our chooks, really go for the sweet potato. So we've come to the moment of truth. As you can see, it's not a large area, it's not deep, it's probably not ideal for growing vast quantities of sweet potatoes. They should really be outside, but we'll have a dig around and see what we can find. So I can see one just popping up here already. It's a little sweet potato. The soil probably needs to be replenished in this container. There's another, that's not a bad little one. It needs to be replenished in this. Yeah, the soil's become a little bit, well, I'd term it gutless. Another little one. Taking out about 20% of the soil, and I can just see some more sweet potatoes in here. Not a bad size one. So the amazing thing is that we've been home 4 months, I think, maybe, and I've watered this bed every day. So the sweet potato certainly made lots of green leaves. Oh, here we go, another one. And another little one. But so it's a high user of moisture. So there's a couple of little sweet potato in here. I'll leave these. Whatever's in here will actually regrow again, and I need to refurbish this bed a little bit with a bit more good planting soil in it. So what did we say at the beginning of the video? I hope to get 2 kilos. So that's probably what I've got. About 2 kilos of sweet potato. All it did cost was a little bit of water, and from that sweet potato we've grown other sweet potatoes. As I said before, the indoor plants. But yeah, this is very, very dry and needs to be totally refurbished before we put anything. Well, I won't put anything else in. What's in there will grow again as sweet potato. And just to finish this part on the sweet potatoes, the bed is about 30 centimetres high, about a foot high, 50 wide and 80 long. So we're not talking about a great area, just a little bit larger than a family Australian esky. So we've taken out most of the sweet potato. There's a few little bits of root, actually 6, that I've put back in. Before I put it back in, I've remulched the garden bed, watered it, and it's still probably a little bit dry, and then I've put the straw on top. So the plants are all in there ready for the next season. So I suppose by the end of summer we can redo the whole thing once again. One of the important things about sweet potato is that it is a spreader. So where this pineapple plant is, I've got a few just growing in there. This is a type of a kale, and obviously we've got the pineapple as well. So just an update on our potatoes, which I've grown from seed. They're still very small, very delicate, and I was actually hoping to get them to grow a bit stronger and then graft the tomato on top of the potato, but we'll just have to wait and see how they develop and grow. The good old Australian flame tree, which can grow 40 metres high and spread of 15 metres. I'm just trying to bonsai this one at the moment. So far, so good. And this was just a little experiment with carrots in our greenhouse. The greenhouse does get very hot, but this was just over winter. Probably leave the others for another 3 or 4 weeks. You see that this carrot's not orange. We're using old rootstock, old seeds to grow these carrots. So before we went on our holiday, which was for 4 months, and we visited lots of wonderful people all through Australia, we planted these broad beans, just as dry beans in this garden bed, which is actually a tinny, an aluminium tin boat that used to leak. So we've been harvesting the beans, but as you can see, they're getting a little bit too tall and they're starting to shade out other plants. So it's almost time to move the beans on. So what we're going to do is cut some down and collect a few of the beans. So as you can see, it's a bit of a jungle in here. We've got an apple and a pear tree, and down in the boat we've got some carrots, some beans, some capsicum,
Beetroot.
and beetroot and a few other things, but I need to get rid of this stuff up here because it's blocking out too much sun. So this is our little wheelbarrow. We do have 2 wheelbarrows. This one is just for light work, plus we have a good, strong, heavy duty one. Now there's a look of some of the broad beans. Reasonable size. And the other good thing is that I've allowed some more light into the garden. If we get too many beans, my better half will normally blanch them and then freeze them. But to be honest with you, this year, as in many parts of Australia, the crop has been very poor. Some people call it climate change or whatever, but it's just what it is this year, unfortunately. But we're thankful, honestly thankful, for small mercies, and very grateful that we can grow fresh produce in our own garden We use two types of water. We collect water from our roof, and that goes through a pump system into the tank, and that's our drinking water. And the second water system that we incorporate is, even though we live on an island surrounded by water, we have groundwater, and we have a electrical bore to pump that water out, and that says as we need it, I turn the pump on. So sometimes I water the garden. I'll just show you actually. So this is it's actually a fire hose with a big nozzle, and we water the garden to try and conserve our fresh water. So this is today's harvest. Obviously too many for us to eat today.
So that's the broad beans all cut back. A little bit more light in for the plants underneath. And we'll still get more from it. I was just looking at our apple blossom. The apple tree's covered in blossom. Very exciting. And our roses have just started blooming. So today's harvest: sweet potato, carrots, blueberries, snow peas, asparagus, and all those broad beans I've got to cook.